we're back with an all-new Enough Already podcast. My name is Fingers Malloy. She's Tracy L. Connors. We didn't actually do a show last week, Tracy, so we're going to do 2 this week.
Sounds ambitious.
It really does. Are we up for that? Two shows? 2 shows in a week? Yeah. We can do that.
We used to do way more.
We used to do 4 shows a week.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably one of the reasons why I left FTR Radio.
So 2 is pushing it. 2
is, yes, it's pushing it. But I want to welcome all of our listeners, Tracy. This SoundCloud that we use is fantastic. It lets us know where people are listening. I mean, not your actual address, ladies and gentlemen. But the cities. Like, you know, I'm looking at the list right now. Singapore. We've got someone listening in Singapore.
That's not a city.
Well, it says Singapore, Singapore.
Oh, okay.
Is there not a city in Singapore named Singapore?
I'm not sure. I will Google that. Continue on your list.
Tampa, Orlando, Eugene, Oregon. Oregon. Littleton, Colorado. Brooklyn. Mountain View, California. And I could go on and on and on, but no need. Is there Singapore?
I believe, yeah.
There you go.
Here so.
So quick to think I'm wrong, Tracy Connors.
Well, Singapore is an interesting place.
Have you ever been there?
No. I have friends that have been there, but I have not been there. I think I would end up getting caned. Don't you remember that?
Yeah, that was a big thing.
Yeah, they're pretty authoritarian over there, but it's supposed to be lovely.
The tap water there is fantastic.
Well, you're not allowed to chew gum. I would assume my vape is out, so that means I can't possibly go there.
Can you chew your vape?
No.
No, you can't chew your vape.
No, I think public swearing is allowed.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't last 2 minutes.
Yep. No. So, I'll look at pictures and listen to stories.
So, last week I went to CPAC, Tracy.
Yes.
Do you want to hear about it? Because we're only going to do a short version of the podcast today. CPAC wrap up.
Okay, so I guess I don't have a choice about hearing about it.
I guess not.
Okay.
First of all, the Conservative Political Action Conference. Isn't that the name of that? That's what CPAC stands for.
Yes.
So, I would hazard to guess that it was probably about a third of the people were there this year that were last year. The attendance was low.
That does make some sense. Last year was a big year. The whole bunch of candidates there.
Well, here's what I noticed leading up to CPAC on social media. You had a bunch of Trump supporters tweeting, posting on Facebook, something like this. I would see, have you seen the speakers at CPAC this year? It's a bunch of never Trumpers. I'm not going. And then people who are on the right who can't stand Trump would post, oh my gosh, CPAC, this year it's going to be nothing but a Trump love fest. I'm not going. So nobody's showing up. What are you doing there?
Sorry, I was just adjusting my microphone. Is it really loud and obnoxious?
It sounded like you were screwing a top on a jar.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I'm in the kitchen, don't you know?
Are you canning?
Yes. Prepping is all the rage these days on both sides.
That's right.
So we're going to be launching our own prepper gear next week.
Oh, there's money in that. So I
know.
Hear every 30 seconds on some radio network I'm not going to mention. But so the attendance was down this year.
Mm-hmm.
Noticeably down.
Well, do you think it would have been different if they had announced Trump earlier?
Maybe. Or then again, a lot of people stayed away because Trump was speaking because of the security issues that they had last year when Ben Carson spoke at CPAC while he still had Secret Service protection. It took some people 90 minutes to get through security. For Ben Carson, who, by the way, was announcing at CPAC he was dropping out of the race, thus didn't need Secret Service protection anymore. What a dick move.
Yeah.
So, attendance was down. Day one of CPAC, I'm still recovering from RhinoCon, which is a unofficial kickoff of CPAC at a bar where, Tracy, you would have loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you walk in the door and you see people from Twitter and Facebook and you think to yourself, okay, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you.
I haven't even met you, and I already hate your guts.
So, I'm still recovering from that. I was up till 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Don't remember how I got back to my condo. So, I'm heading up to CPAC. We were on Radio Row from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Thursday and Friday. And I'll include some of the CPAC audio in this podcast. But I'm heading up Main Street there, the main drag, and there's a 2-block area that is completely taped off with police tape, and there are cops all over the place. So my initial reaction is, well, geez, they're going to have Mike Pence later in the evening, but I can't believe they're already making this area secure, cordoning off the area. I get to CPAC, come to find out someone jumped off the top of a parking garage or was pushed, one of the two.
You never got to the bottom of that?
No. Well, I don't think
was it an attendee?
No,
you don't
apparently
even know?
The word is around the campfire that it was just a local who lives in National Harbor.
That explains a lot.
Which, by the way, it is ridiculously expensive to live in National Harbor. They built a whole bunch of condos. I stayed in one in an Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, I'm never doing that again.
Oh?
Airbnb is terrible. Awful. And it has nothing to do... The people who... the condo I rented, the people, they were delightful.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with me. Because I'll give you an example. Day one, I am getting ready. I'm hungover. And I spill some Listerine on this white bath mat. It's very nice, carpeted. I think they would call it a plush bath mat.
Did it look like a Muppet?
Kinda. Okay. But it was white.
Mm-hmm.
And I spilled like green Listerine on it. So there was a little green stain on this mat. Now, if I were at a hotel, I would have been like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Which really says a lot about my character. But I was at this was someone's home.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. So I'm hungover. It's 8:30 in the morning, and here I am with carpet cleaner on my hands and knees.
You do know those things can typically go in a washing machine, right?
Well, yeah, but who needs that?
Huh.
I put it in the washing machine, and then, I put it in the wrong setting or something, and then I rip it apart.
And you don't get back your security deposit.
Right.
Or your cleaning deposit.
My cleaning deposit. So, it's just like stuff like that. I had to check out at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. So I'm up at 10:30 in the morning cleaning the condo. I'm doing dishes. I'm washing the towels that I use.
Was that a requirement?
No, well, I don't know. I've never done Airbnb before.
I thought they typically have somebody come in and clean after you leave.
Well, I'm sure they do.
I'm
I mean, I didn't strip the bedding, so I'm sure someone will go in and strip the bedding and wash it. But I thought, okay, I'll be nice. I'll wash the towels. I had bagels and toast during the week, so I got crumbs on the stove. They're cleaning the stove. I made burgers one night, cleaning pots and pans. So screw Airbnb. Don't want anything to do with it anymore. But anyway, so went to, stepped over a dead body on my way to the conference.
Oh, that's a good sign.
Yeah. It's considered good luck in Latvia. And, like I said, attendance was down. Hardly knew anyone there. In previous years, it was like, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Didn't know anybody. I'm sure CPAC would be thrilled listening to this wrap-up.
Just being honest.
Yeah.
They have to realize that their attendance was down.
But here's another criticism of CPAC. You bought a ticket to go to CPAC. You probably spent somewhere in the neighborhood of $300.
Mm-hmm.
Then, at least for Vice President Pence, you needed to buy a separate ticket to be able to get in before the other attendees. So you had to pay a premium to see Vice President Pence, and I'm assuming President Trump, but I'm not positive on that because I just heard people bitching about Pence. So you spend $300, and then they're like, oh, we need more money from you to see Mike Pence speak.
But that was for special seating, premium seats?
Yeah, and then they said they'll sit those people first, and then it's first come, first serve for the attendees.
Okay,
Regular.
so they're trying to do it like a Southwest flight.
Yeah, exactly. So, a lot of people were unhappy about that. So, again, maybe that's what kind of led to attendance being down. I don't know. But all in all, I was very happy with the event. I noticed on social media also that I really get tired of people who I met at CPAC now acting like they're too good to go. Like, oh, I'm so glad I don't have to be at CPAC this year. I'm so above it all. I'm so much better than those people that went, oh, okay, that's cool. I got 3 potential clients out of this.
Mm-hmm.
While you sat at home.
And probably saw more of the speeches, though.
Well, yeah, they probably saw more of the speeches than I did. Yeah. So, if they even...
I probably saw more of them than you did.
You probably did. Because, Friday, President Trump was speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And I was expecting security to be ridiculous, but they had a separate media line for people like me. And it got right through.
Nice.
So I was setting up, but I was told they were locking the doors 5 minutes, 10 minutes before the president was going to speak, and then you weren't able to get out. The doors would be locked.
Yep.
And we had interviews starting at 11 a.m., so... It's like, well, what am I going to see? I've already been in the room with President Trump before.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't really matter to me to see him again give the same speech. So I was like, So I passed. I passed on Vice President Pence, and I passed on seeing Donald Trump.
Now, was it packed for Trump?
Yes.
So that was the busiest day?
Yes. But it had a feel that after it was over, people walked out, and again, it just didn't seem all that crowded. It was like people came in to see Trump and then they left.
Huh.
Well, did you see the speech? Because I kind of heard it was low energy.
I watched about the first 12 minutes of it, I guess. And he wasn't finished talking about how much the media sucks.
Yeah.
So I kind of tuned it out. I've seen that speech enough at this point. Although I find it entertaining, but...
But there were people walking around Friday night with leis on.
Uh-huh.
They went to the Breitbart cruise.
The luau.
The luau. But it was very funny. There were some people that were walking around very proud to have that lei on.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were others that would whisper to me that they went to the party but didn't want anyone to know about it. Like they had just done some meth in the bathroom.
And as if everybody else at the party didn't see them.
Right. It was like a secret society. But
Or these never Trumpers that were...
yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, and you had a bunch of libs there too.
Of course, they love to come and report on it.
And go get free booze, but this is a first for the Breitbart gang. Cash bar.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
That's what I read about it.
I did not get an invite, so I didn't go. I was just...
What?
Yeah, I know.
How are never Trumpers getting in and you're not?
Beats me.
Well, I got an invite.
Well, you're cooler than I am.
Didn't go.
But it was funny. I had a couple of... Yeah, I was just... I was just at the Breitbart party. Oh, you were at the Breitbart party? Shh, 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 shh. My friend Terry Christoph that I shared a booth with, she actually grabbed me a lei.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I walked around for a little while wearing the lei, and then some girl that I met in the group said, "Oh, I like that. That's really cool." I said, "Here, you can have it." What am I walking around with flowers around my neck? But I missed that. I think you would have enjoyed yourself, Tracy. I really do.
Oh. Yeah? Why?
I don't know. I think it's just something people say. You probably would have hated it.
I've had fun in previous years. But I see more of it when I'm not there. Every year when we go, I usually end up watching a couple speeches from my hotel room.
Yeah.
And was the Bannon Priebus thing the most talked about?
I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the MGM Grand Casino.
Yes.
Which sucks, by the way.
Okay.
It's an impressive facility. It's very nice. It's brand new. But it's all slot machines.
Mm-hmm.
There's very little video poker. And the buy-ins for blackjack are ridiculous.
Okay, what's ridiculous?
$50 hands.
Ugh. Who? Only in D.C.
Yeah. On the weekend. I went on a Thursday, and you could find some $15 tables.
That's still steep.
Yeah, but most of the tables were $25 on a Thursday night. And Friday, Saturday night, $25, $50 tables. I just looked at it. I was like, okay, I'll go find video poker. And there were only about 8 video poker machines that weren't at a bar.
Were they 25 cents a hand or?
Yeah, and some even weren't 25 cents a hand. Some of them were $1, $2 hands.
Jeez.
And it's like, well, this place isn't for me. I lost $10 the first time I went, and I lost about $80 the second time. And no free drinks, of course, on top of that.
That's a sin.
Oh, I was playing the night I lost $80. I went to a hotel, or I went to a bar to play video poker, and I'm getting $9 Evan Williams and Diet Cokes. I mean, just the most disgusting rail well.
Yeah, that sounds like furniture
drinks.
polish.
Yeah, it's terrible. But, you know, they had a bar there called Blossom that it looks like the decor is the cherry blossom trees that are...
Oh, I thought you meant like Mayim Bialik blossom.
No.
And like Joey Lawrence is there serving you and saying, whoa.
No. And they do the whole mixology thing where the bartender is like from cocktail, he's doing the thing the shaker behind his head, like I give a rat's ass that the person's shaking the drink from behind. Oh, well, this is at least 15% better. The guy was shaking the drink behind his head. So, drinks were $15, $20 a piece at that bar. I mean, it's ridiculously expensive. But I'm on my way over there, and there's a guy who came along with us that he was I can't remember who he is affiliated with, but he was a liberal.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice when a liberal goes to CPAC, they're a lot like a libertarian, where they have to tell you 30 times within 2 minutes. Speaking as a libertarian, I have to say, I was saying, he was like, as a liberal, he must have said he was a liberal 30 times to let us know that he was a liberal. But he went on and on about the Bannon-Priebus panel.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that.
So you're saying he was from some liberal outlet?
Yeah, he was a liberal author, and I think he may write for The Atlantic.
Okay.
But that's what he wanted to talk about, was that panel discussion, or whatever you want to call it, with Bannon and Priebus, where it seemed like there was a concerted effort by Bannon and Priebus to let everyone know how much they love each other.
Yeah.
Like, all this stuff in the media about us hating each other. We love each other. We love each other. We have dinner 6 times a week.
No, they said they have to work together all day, every day. They said they start work at 6:30 in the morning and finish work at 11 o'clock at night.
Ugh.
I know. Sounds brutal.
Well,
and they share an office suite.
Bannon is a workaholic.
Yes.
But I can't imagine... don't you think he's going to burn out?
I don't know. I mean, Trump hasn't apparently burnt out yet, and that's got to be... I would assume that's probably his schedule, too.
I just never envisioned Steve Bannon as the kind of cat that would get up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah. Well, remember, he was doing the radio show for maybe a year, if not more, but prior to joining the administration. And that show was 6 to 9 or 6 to 10 every morning.
I just get the sense that maybe after 10 o'clock...
You took a nap?
Maybe.
I don't think so. I mean, I've been around their offices during the daytime, and he's just nonstop.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly impressive.
Well, that's our work schedule here. So
absolutely.
I'm looking forward to maybe in the second term getting a job offer.
Yeah, we would transition so easily over to those kind of hours. And I wonder what the security protocol is, what time you actually have to show up at the White House to get in by 6:30.
Oh, good God. But he should have some sort of special badge or handshake where you can just kind of walk in.
Yeah. And be like, can I just get a cot in my office?
Yeah. But they probably do need to frisk him every day to make sure he doesn't have his heart attack gun on him.
This is true. Well, I assume it's kind of like a city hall situation where you still have to go through metal detectors every day.
I would think. But did you see any of that panel? I mean,
yeah, I did. And I did think.
Thing?
Yeah. But it's hard for me to say. I mean, you hear stuff about them not getting along, and it's this, it's the clash of the party versus the grassroots kind of deal going on. But they did play that up. We get along perfectly. And that was Reince's whole deal. It's great. Donald Trump was the only one that could bring together the conservative movement, as he called it, and the party. And we're still pretending that there's a conservative movement. This is cute.
Yeah, I don't know what a conservative is anymore.
No, I don't think anybody does. And I haven't known for a long time.
Even with all the bitching about Milo.
Yeah. Was that still going on while you were there?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Even with the bitching about Milo, okay, he's not a conservative. I don't know what a conservative is anymore. I mean, would you all have been happier if Mitch McConnell would have been the keynote? or John McCain.
Right. Do those guys count? I mean, I maybe Jim DeMint counts, but he's long gone out of there.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he could still speak, but no, I mean, the label is basically useless at this point.
Yeah, have no idea what a conservative is. And I've had people, and we'll hear it later, from Kerry Picket from the Daily Caller. I'm very impatient. And
yes.
when I hear for 6 years that you're going to repeal Obamacare, I want a bill in the first week.
Yeah.
Repeal some bitch. You've been talking about it for 6 years. Where's the bill? Kerry comes on later and she'll explain why she believes that it's okay. That we're going to see it in March or April. That they're busy doing other things. And maybe they are, and it's all under the radar. Because if you're just a casual observer of what's going on in Congress right now, you're not seeing a whole hell of a lot. And it's kind of frustrating.
Yes. I mean, it would be nice to get reassurances, and I guess we have kind of heard that from Trump. I don't know if you saw him speaking yesterday, which was Monday, in preparation for his address to a joint session of Congress and what he was going to talk about. And he was saying that we can't get to tax reform until we do Obamacare. So Obamacare is on the plate to get finished March, April, and then tax reform will come immediately thereafter.
God, I wish he would do something extreme with tax reform. A fair tax would be outstanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm interested to see what we're going to be getting, and that was one of the things that Bannon talked about is that, and previous, that all day, every day, they're just trying to execute his agenda. And if you want to know what his agenda is, then this was specifically directed at the fake news media. Just go look at the speeches that he gave, because it's all there. And They all seem to be shocked that he's actually following through on these things.
Yeah. I do have one criticism of the president.
Okay.
That has come up in the last day or two. Benny Johnson.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw this piece at IJ Review. Benny Johnson was stalking the president.
Oh, okay. Because the way that I saw it played in another piece was he just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
No. Well, he made himself be at the right place at the right time.
Okay.
He was tipped off that President Trump may be eating at the new Trump International or whatever they call it in D.C.
Yeah. Yes.
So he made reservations around the time he thought the president would show up. And, of course, eventually the president did show up.
Mm-hmm.
And he was having dinner. Did you hear what he ordered?
I had a steak well done with ketchup.
Yes.
Yes.
A steak well done with ketchup is the fireball of dinner entrees.
It sounds like what you eat when you're 4 or 5.
Yes. At the
Ground Round Steakhouse.
Oh, my gosh. That's the kind of meal you get at Applebee's. Even though you didn't order it, you ordered a steak and you asked for it to be medium at Applebee's, and then it comes out and it's a hockey puck.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, shit, where's the steak sauce? You don't have any steak sauce? Oh, Christ. Give me some ketchup, anything.
Yeah, sorry. Due to FDA regulations, we cannot serve meat that is pink.
But this is some I mean, what do you think? Say you get a New York strip at Trump International. I'm guessing that's a $100 steak.
Possibly.
I mean,
I'm sure we could.
We should find that out. We should get our research team on that. I bet that's a $100 steak. Which, that's like a nickel to Donald Trump. But still, it's like a $100 piece of meat and you're putting Heinz 57 on it? Like it's a burger?
Ugh.
And then he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can trust this man. You order your meat well done, you pile ketchup on it, and when someone comes by and says, I think red wine would go with that, Mr. President. Oh, I don't drink. I don't know, yeah. Tracy. I'm starting to flip a little.
That's okay.
Over the important things.
Yes. How a steak is cooked and the amount of alcohol imbibed. I get it.
When's the last time you ordered anything well done?
Never.
I mean, even burgers, which I can understand people not wanting pink in hamburger because the texture is different. Like getting a medium or medium rare hamburger. I mean, there's something about eating a raw hamburger that's kind of like, ugh.
Yeah.
A steak?
Yeah. Do you remember what kind of steak you had? Because I've got the menu pulled up for at least one of the...
He just said a steak. Well done.
Because the New York strip is only $54.
Only?
Yeah. But they do have a porterhouse that's $110. But it's for two.
Yeah. Usually a porterhouse is huge.
Yeah. So they got a porterhouse and a ribeye for two that are both $110. Yeah.
Do you think that do you think he has a special ketchup bottle?
Probably. He is a germaphobe. He probably brings his own. Or he's got like McDonald's ketchup packet shoved in his suit pocket.
It is a fascinating read, though. It goes over the whole thing leading up to the president getting to Trump Tower to eat, or Trump International. So I highly recommend people read that piece because it's rather long, because Benny got there around 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Oh, geez.
And I believe Donald Trump didn't show up till almost 8. So that's a lot of, we'll have another appetizer and a drink. A lot of bullshitting. Waiting for the president to get there. But very popular at Trump International, from what Benny Johnson reports. So I recommend reading that.
And the other story about that night with that dinner specifically was that the press jumped all over it and accused him of attending some party hosted by the Kuwaiti government there. Which is absolutely hilarious. And they had the story over at Gateway Pundit, which includes some of Benny's stuff. Because Benny was the only one inside. And I guess the rest of the press pool was stuck outside. From the article, it says the press pool was held in a van outside. It was not allowed inside.
Yeah, and the press pool consists of one reporter.
No, it's a whole bunch. It's Think Progress, Reuters, NPR seem to be in there. And
see, the story I read, they only allowed one reporter from the pool.
Oh, maybe the rest of them were just paying attention on Twitter because they all sent out this thing. So it starts with the Think Progress guy named Judd Legume. Yeah. So he's some kind of a fungus. He was the first one to say, "Oh my God, he's probably at this Kuwaiti embassy party." And then it turned out that the party was actually on Wednesday night, not on Saturday night.
Oh, details.
And it was a CNN reporter that corrected them.
Oh.
Yeah, she tweeted out like, "Hi guys, I was there." Actually, her tweet is, "Guys, the Kuwait party was on Wednesday. I actually have the invites. So unless there were two, but probably not." And then at Reuters. So Reuters reported it. Think Progress, NPR. What a waste. Washington Post. So they just continue to set themselves up to be called fake news.
Wow.
Yeah. That's pretty funny, though. But they're still, oh, my God, this could be a violation of the Emoluments Clause. Because this is one of the things he promised, that if any foreign governments did business with his properties, he would give that money over to the Treasury. So they're anxiously awaiting to see if a check comes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're off by 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
All they had to do was Google it, because if the Kuwaitis had some sort of party at Trump International, someone would have reported on it.
Right.
And it would have been on Google. All you have to do is Google that shit.
Yes.
But why Google it when you could just throw it out there as real news?
Yeah.
Well,
and that's what'll stick.
Dead. Journalism is dead.
Are you channeling Hannity? He very proudly says, "I started saying that, 10 years ago."
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like that's some sort of brilliant observation to be bragging. Water is wet. I've been saying that for years, Tracy Connors. You're anybody
Murder's
else say
bad.
that? But anyway, that's. Can I tell you one CPAC story?
Please.
I drove there.
Uh-huh.
So, and I lost my ass at the MGM casino.
Mm-hmm.
But on my way to CPAC, I noticed I was driving down a state road in Pennsylvania.
So this isn't a CPAC story at all. This is
traveling to and from CPAC
counts
as CPAC.
As part of attending the conference. So everybody that didn't get to attend the conference, me included, gets to hear about your casino adventure.
Yes, exactly.
It's really important.
There was a roadside casino
God,
in Pennsylvania.
You have a problem.
I may have a problem. And I made a mental note. And so on the way back, it's a 10-hour drive. It was 6:30 at night, and I was about 5.5 hours away from home. I needed to use the bathroom, Tracy.
Oh, sure.
I needed to use the bathroom, and I wasn't going to be able to make it all the way to Indianapolis before I had to go. And there was that casino.
There you go. And they make you gamble before they let you use the facilities,
and
right?
I thought to myself, I bet they have a toilet in there. So I pulled in, and so I'm walking into the casino, just to use the bathroom, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a security guard at the entrance. I'm thinking, oh, God. The MGM Grand asked for my ID. And anyone that looks at, sees me knows he ain't 18.
Yes. No, you got to be 21 to gamble.
Oh, yeah, 21. I mean,
right?
I
in
got
the casino. Yeah.
Yes, I got a big old white beard. My beard is my ID.
Sure.
He's like, "Excuse me, sir." I'm giving him some southern accent for some reason. Sir.
Well, you were in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah. You ain't been here before, have you? No, I ain't been here before. Go over there and talk to that nice lady. She'll tell you how to get in. Okay. So I walk over to this nice lady who proceeds to tell me that you have to pay $10 to get into the casino.
Yeah.
And at that point, I thought to myself, well, nuts on this. I'm not going to pay $10 to go get in a casino. And she goes, oh, no. You get it back in a gift card that you can buy lunch or drinks or spend something in the gift shop.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay. So I walk in there, play a little video poker, leave $110 up in 45 minutes. There should be roadside casinos everywhere, Tracy Connors. Everywhere.
I would imagine that President Trump might agree with you.
We should name them For the Children casinos. That's what we should do, and all the money will, of course, go to education. We could have for the children, for the roads casinos, because that's another thing. And all the money goes to the roads.
Normally they want all that money to go to education.
So For the Children casino?
Yeah, I mean our lottery benefits older Pennsylvanians.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, supposedly.
Oh.
And they spend millions on ads for the lottery.
Well, let's face it, only the elderly really play the lottery for the most part.
Yeah. So they get it back, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see too many 18-year-old kids outside of a gas station, scratching off a lottery ticket.
No. No, we have the Powerball and the Pick 5 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Not the scratch-off stuff. Get real.
You can win a lot of money on those scratch-offs.
Yeah. You're the gambler. I get those occasionally.
You get a scratch-off every once in a while?
Yeah, but once a decade, maybe.
Huh?
I will play the Powerball when it gets up to $500 million.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, so I can feel like I'm spending the defense budget.
Well, let's face it. The fun about buying a Powerball ticket is the whole time leading up to the drawing, thinking about what you would do if you won the Powerball.
Sure.
That's what you're really investing in. Because I think I won $2 once playing Powerball. You have to
you have to play to win, right?
Oh yeah, but you have to get like 4 numbers in the Powerball before you get like $5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if only they allowed private lotteries. Can you imagine how rich we could get?
Oh, wow. So that casino trip is the bow on my CPAC experience. But I hear people, like I said earlier, that, I would never go to that. You should go. You really should. Especially if you're wanting to do any kind of business in this business. If you want to write, or if you're a podcaster, you may meet some people that will help your career along.
Yeah, it's a fun social scene if everybody's not crying. It sounded like there was a lot of bitching going on about who was there, who wasn't there.
That was all, for the most part, done on social media. When everybody got together, everybody was just drinking, having a good time. The drinks are ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, you're drinking at a hotel bar in suburban D.C. So you're drinking $13, $14 drinks. Yeah. But I ran into some people. Our friend Sonny Johnson was there.
Nice.
Did a shot with her.
Lovely.
Let's see. Who did I interview? Like I said, Kerry Picket. I interviewed Kerry. And Scottie, Nell, Hughes stopped by, talked to her.
And these are all interviews you have coming up?
Yes. Kurt Schlichter and Stephen Kruiser. Kruiser's working at IJ Review now. Kurt, of course, longtime friend from the Snark Factor days over at Townhall.com. Mm-hmm. Didn't do shots with them, though. Drank with them, didn't do shots with them.
No?
No. Saw Kat Timpf walk by.
Lovely.
Our booth, but didn't make eye contact. She did her best to look down at her phone, not to talk to people. She was walking, so good for her.
Uh-huh.
I was teamed up with Terry Christoph. Terry, over at Smart Girl Politics, she interviewed and let me sit in on a couple of interviews with her, with Guy Benson and Ed Morrissey.
Well, that's kind of fun.
Yeah, so check out Terry's work over at Smart Girl Politics and Ricochet. So it was a good weekend, and it was a good experience, and I think CPAC, for the most part, does a very good job throwing that thing together. So good times.
Yeah. Maybe next year it will be packed again, because it is a congressional election year.
It's true.
But I don't know if that whole thing is dying off or not, because, as we said, how do you even define conservatism anymore?
That's true. And I still think they may be starting to price themselves out. I mean, $300 and some odd dollars.
And that's just for the ticket.
Yes.
It's not a cheap place to stay, National Harbor.
No, it's not. I spent on my Airbnb probably around $180 a night with the cleaning fees and everything.
Wow.
And the hotels there, I used to stay at that Residence Inn across the street. You used to stay there too, and that was almost $300 a night this time around. The Gaylord, where the event is, held, that's a $320 a night stay.
Jeez. Yeah. So you're talking 4 nights, you're dropping $1,200 just on your room.
Right, and then there's $300 on the ticket.
It's pricey. No, there needs to be something that's moderately priced in a cool place that lives ideologically somewhere between CPAC and Freedom Fest.
The Enough Already conference.
Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, I mean, we love Vegas, so
Yeah, it has to be Vegas.
the only other option I was thinking is perhaps New Orleans, because our one criteria is open container.
Yes. I've never been to New Orleans.
It is cheaper than DC.
But I think Vegas, while I love Vegas, it is a horrible conference town.
Well, yeah.
I mean, because if you're throwing a conference and it gets boring, say it's like 1:00 in the afternoon and you've got a panel coming. Say if you have a winning the culture panel,
Yeah.
people will be looking at their watches, going, I could be at the blackjack table right now. What am I
people
doing
like
here?
you. Not everybody has that gambling itch.
It's Vegas.
I understand.
I can't believe how much you love Vegas, but you don't like to gamble.
I'm not the only one that's like that.
I know. I don't get it.
Well, I like that everything's open basically 24 hours
Well, that is nice.
because I have an odd sleeping schedule. So, but yeah, I could totally do without the gambling. I don't think I gambled once when we were there last year.
Wow. I gambled right when I got off the plane.
I know. You gambled in the damn airport. It's like,
Which is the worst place to gamble.
yeah. Those slots aren't loose.
No.
No.
But
I did
go
years
ahead.
ago when I was moving out to Oregon. I don't know how the hell we ended up. I guess northern Nevada. Stopped in a gas station and they had a slot machine. I stuck a few quarters in. I walked out with $70 or $80.
Nice.
Yeah. It's like that's the kind of stuff I can handle. I'm willing to lose about $10.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
You're just getting started at $10.
I guess. No, I'm getting started to feel sick. Like, what am I doing? Why don't I just light this money on fire?
Well,
I'll get more pleasure out of it.
I'm not a high roller. I only give myself like $150 a day. I mean, it's not like I'm blowing $5,000 in a weekend at a casino.
Right.
But my problem is, and I noticed it this time around, I gotta believe that the people at CPAC that I see once a year think I must be a raging alcoholic.
Oh.
Raging alcoholic.
You mean the people that spend all night at the bar with you?
Yes.
Doing the same thing?
Yes.
I don't think there's any room for judgment from those folks.
Because
Come on, all of CPAC's like, there's this party from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Yeah,
open bar, and then
that's
6 p.m. to
true.
7 p.m., and then this, da-da-da-da. It's a drinking fest.
But I think I get an unfair rap because, I have a mohawk and my name's Fingers Malloy. So it's just
unfair. You do
yes.
this yourself.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I don't remember getting back to my condo on Wednesday.
Well, see, when you openly
Friday
admit
night.
this stuff, it's no surprise.
Well, I feel like one of the things we do here is we're completely honest.
yeah.
I don't remember. But here's the deal. I'm back home. I may not drink for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
And then I'll go to another conference. I'll go to Freedom Fest. And I won't remember how I got back to my room again.
And who ordered all that room service?
Right. So I got to learn. Moderation.
Every year we go through this conversation.
I know.
This is one of the reasons that I stayed away.
But here's the problem. I walk into a bar, and I didn't even get to the bar before somebody handed me a Jack on the Rocks.
What an awful life you live.
What am I supposed to do? Pour it out for my dead homies on the ground? I mean...
Yeah.
It's not easy being me.
No.
My good friend Ash Scow, though, who is not on this week, maybe she'll be on later in the week for our second show, she owed me a bottle of Jack. And so here you go, here's your whiskey, and she handed me a fifth of Fireball.
Oh, dude. She's doing that specifically to piss you off, huh?
Yeah, well, then she handed me a fifth of Jack, too. So she gave me a fifth of Fireball and a fifth of Jack.
So that's your apocalypse liquor then?
Yeah, I don't know what am I going to do with Fireball?
Give it to a girl.
Yeah, I guess.
And I don't want it, so pick somebody else.
You want me? I'll pack. Oh, thank you. I'll pack it for Vegas.
Yeah.
Here you go.
No, don't waste luggage room with Fireball
here's
to
your
go to Vegas.
cinnamon liqueur
Ugh.
that says it's whiskey on the front of it. I was like, okay, can I cook with it? Is there something I could do with it that I could
No.
bake a fireball cake? I don't know. What the hell am I going to do with this? It's going to sit in my liquor cabinet for years.
Potentially.
Vile, disgusting stuff. And that they put whiskey on the front of that bottle is just insulting. I'd rather drink Evan Williams and pay $9 for it at the casino than have free Fireball. Anything else, Tracy, you want to mention?
No, just that we'll be back in a day or two to go over what's happening this week now. So we've got Trump's address to the joint session of Congress, I guess is what we officially call this, or the address to the nation, or some such nonsense, which we're supposed to get a preview of his budget, which some of the details were leaked or allowed to be let out yesterday. And it was interesting to see the headlines. Some of them read, Trump asks for $54 billion increase in spending for defense. And then you see other ones. It's like Trump asked for $54 billion in cuts from the EPA and the State Department. So we're talking about increased spending with offsetting cuts.
Oh, this is going to be delicious.
Put that all together. So yeah. I would like to see cuts across the board, so I'm a little bit annoyed about this, but I know that the EPA people are freaking out, which always makes me happy. So the puddle enforcement squad will be shut down shortly. That's no joke. They have the authority to come onto your property and fool around in your puddles.
Yeah, I know.
It's insane.
Or if
you have no private property rights.
Endangered butterfly.
Yeah,
there's a nest on your property.
Meanwhile, their stupid wind turbines are killing. I was just reading the other day, they're killing some rare species of bat now too. In addition to the birds that get just diced through those things. And
well, I don't know what's worse, the windmills that kill birds, or God forbid a bird flies over one of these solar panel farms.
It's like a giant George Foreman grill in the middle of the desert. No, flying back home from Los Angeles, looking out the window, it's just, you see these wind farms everywhere, and half of the things aren't even spinning.
Yeah.
It's so obnoxious, and they're all over in Southern California, up in the hills.
They're all over here in Indiana.
They're absurd. It's like, why are we using medieval technology to use to grind grain? Good God. Can we just go nuclear again, please?
I would love to know how much one of those windmills costs and how much of it's funded by the federal government.
150%.
Yeah.
My favorite, are you ever look on YouTube for windmills exploding?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, go Google that stuff. There's some great videos where it's just like, spinning nicely, and then all of a sudden, the whole thing just crumbles and falls apart, and you just giggle. Like, oh yeah, that's totally we're gonna run the world off of this stuff.
Oh my God.
No doubt.
Oh, I want to pass along our condolences, by the way. Good friend of the show, Monica Crowley.
Yes.
Her sister was married to Alan Combs, who passed away last week. So thoughts and prayers go out to Monica, her sister, and their families, the Combs family and the Crowleys. So I'm sure she listens every week, but
absolutely, she's our biggest fan.
I'm sure.
All right, so what CPAC interviews do we have coming up?
Well, we have Kerry Picket from the Daily Caller, Kurt Schlichter from Townhall.com, and Stephen Kruiser over at IJ Review, Scottie and Nell Hughes, and we have one other interview that I'm not sure you're going to let me put in the podcast.
Yeah, I'm going to say no.
Okay. I'll put that out separately somewhere else.
Yeah, it's not a Jerry Lewis telethon fingers.
Oh, Jesus. So those are coming up. Stay tuned for that, and we won't come back to end the show. So the last interview, that'll be it. How about that? We just do
Sounds
that.
good to me. And we'll be back later in the week.
Where can everyone find the Enough Already podcast?
You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, Facebook, and at enoughalreadypodcast.com.
Follow me on Twitter at Fingers Malloy. Follow Tracy on Twitter at Tracy L. Connors. Music for the Enough Already podcast is provided to us courtesy of YoPaulyMusic.com. So thanks for listening. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review over at iTunes.
And apparently you don't even have to write anything.
You don't. Someone just left us a review, a 5-star review. I don't even know who it was. Just hit 5 stars and moved on with their life.
Yeah, so that probably took them all of, 10 seconds? Open the app, get to the thing, 5 stars. Yeah.
That's all you have to do. It's painless.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, until later in the week, thanks for listening. Bye-bye. And I'm back here on Radio Row at CPAC 2017, and joining me right now, Kerry Picket from the Daily Caller. Kerry, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming on. Well, did you catch any of Trump's speech?
I did. I was in the ballroom when he spoke.
I heard it was kind of low energy. That's the word around the campfire.
Is that so?
Yeah, for people on the outside, not in the room. Kind of canned, same old lines. What you were in the room? Tell me what you thought.
Well, I thought that he had a number of applause lines. One of the things that I was sort of preparing myself for, and also sort of preparing other people for, was look, when you start getting used to certain things, as far as being shocked, things stop being shocking. Yeah. So, how many times, for example, can someone be called dishonest? How many times can people be called, disruptive and so on and so forth, and horrible things to the point where it stops being shocking? So, right. And on top of that, look, he can continue to be shocking when he is off the cuff, when he has to deal with certain questions, and when it comes to media, such as someone like Jim Acosta asking him questions. But when he is doing a prepared speech, when he's looking at a teleprompter and so on and so forth.
He was on a prompter today?
I think he was more or less on a prompter, kind of, making side comments. But ultimately, he is going to stick to certain red meat lines that will make the people happy here at CPAC. But I don't think he was necessarily low energy.
No. Can you touch on some of the things he discussed? Because I didn't get a chance to see it because we were out here setting up.
Sure.
What were some of the main themes of the speech?
Dishonest media, building the wall, taking out ISIS. It was essentially a campaign speech. I don't think you necessarily missed anything as far as in terms of not hearing something you haven't heard before. One of the things that can be thought of here is that Steve Bannon from yesterday, he mentioned that Trump is very focused on fulfilling his campaign promises. And I think that if you hear Trump saying things over and over and over again, that is probably something that he's very focused on actually fulfilling. So watch for that. Now,
Bannon and Reince Priebus were together yesterday for an event here, I believe. And the word is that there seemed to be an effort by both of them to say, we're getting along great. We love each other. What's your sense of the relationship between those two men?
They have very different work styles. Steve Bannon is a late at night workaholic type of a person, likes to delegate things, and that is his type of style. Whereas Reince Priebus, look, his job as chief of staff is to deal with the people below him very often. So, I'm not surprised that a lot of people think that they're going to clash, because yes, their styles are very different and their jobs are very different. Look, everyone's going to be jockeying for the attention of the president.
Sure.
And the closer that you get to the president, the more time that you're going to be competing for the attention of the president. Are they fighting? Well, sure. I'm sure that anyone who's that close to the president is going to be fighting for attention. Do they hate each other? I don't think so.
Don't you think some of it, too, is a bunch of outsiders kind of projecting their wishful thinking on this, that they're not getting along and there's turmoil in the White House?
Well, I'm sure they are. I mean, look, if you look at Steve Bannon and you look at Reince Priebus, yes, they look like they're very different people, and the way they talk is very, very different. So people will automatically think that they don't like each other because they come from two very different backgrounds. But ultimately, that doesn't necessarily mean that they hate each other.
Now, what I like about you, Kerry, is, there aren't a lot of people that are really doing old school reporting anymore, and you don't have any problems getting in and digging for a story. How do you cover an event like this?
This is probably my 16th or like 17th CPAC. I enjoy hanging around Radio Row and talking to a lot of the people who come off of Radio Row and people who have just spoken to you, because very often those are the people who have something to say. I like to talk to a lot of the non-headliners who are the speakers in the breakout groups, because those are very often the ones who begin the policies that eventually find their way to the White House or the Congress. One of the people that I'm interested in actually talking to, and you and I spoke about this off the air, is Adam Laxalt. He is the Nevada Attorney General. He was the one who was fighting the universal background checks over in that state. If you remember, the ballot measure in November 2016 put universal background checks over in Nevada, and Adam Laxalt fought that. But then when they tried to establish that and implement it, it didn't work. And it was sort of a big I told you so from Laxalt, because the FBI wouldn't do the background checks for the universal background checks. And Adam Laxalt was like, see, isn't going to work. And now it can't go back on the ballot for 5 years.
Wow. Now, coming in here today, there were protesters outside. Did you have? I know sometimes you like to get in the middle of that stuff. Did you go over there and talk to any of them today? Or?
I missed them. I was already inside. I think I was having more problems with the security inside than I was with the protesters. I may go check them out now, since the mags are gone, since the VP and the president are, I'm guessing at this point, out of here. So perhaps I'll take a peek outside and see what's happening.
So at this point, we're recording this on Friday. Mm-hmm. What are some of the, you mentioned the Nevada Attorney General, you'd like to talk to him. Mm-hmm. What are some of the stories that you're either working on now or that you've already written that our listeners can look forward to seeing at the Daily Caller?
Definitely keep an eye on these repealing of Obama-era regulations. Everyone right now is wondering, when are we going to get this tax reform? When are we going to get these, big-ticket items like repealing Obamacare? Everyone has to remember, all of the repeal of these Obama-era regulations have to happen now. And the reason being is because there is a 60-day window in which these things have to happen. Because if you don't do them within 60 days of their implementation, which was about, almost a month ago, then we can't repeal them. This is the law. Mm-hmm. So right now, Congress has got to take care of the Obama-era regulations. Once all those repeals of all of these midnight regulations that Obama shoved through back when he was there are all taken care of, then in March, in April, then we can start looking towards the big ticket items like Obamacare, like the tax reform. But right now, definitely watch what is getting repealed as far as regulations are concerned.
So you're not concerned at this point?
No, I'm not concerned. We have got to deal with the repeal of those Obama regulations, because if we don't do it now, we're going to miss that 60-day window.
Kerry Picket from the Daily Caller, thank you so much. Before you go, where can everyone find you on social media?
Kerry Picket, at Kerry Picket. That's KerryPicket.
Thank you, Kerry.
Thanks a lot, Fingers.
Enough already!
Okay, I am back here on Radio Row, CPAC 2017.
Don't what on me?
Beautiful. Stomping all over the setup. In beautiful National Harbor, Maryland. And two of my favorite people are here right now joining me at the Enough Already podcast booth. It's Stephen Kruiser, and back for an encore performance, Kurt Schlichter, gentlemen.
Well, thanks for second billing me. And all your setups belongs to us. So we will stomp on them as we please.
I'm looking at swag over here.
I don't think a constitutional soundbites handout. That's not swag. Swag is something you want.
Have you guys run into any conservative musicians yet that have tried to give you their CD?
Oh, God.
Just the
I like to
hip-hop.
write songs about freedom. Here's
And
my
the
album. It's called
Constitution.
Songs About Freedom. Would you like to hear my hit? It's called Freedom Song.
I do a cover of God Bless the USA on this.
I do a cover of his cover of God Bless the USA, and I do it in rap.
I do miss, Madison Rising not being here, dry humping the American flag up on stage. It's a shame.
I love their album Eagle Bang.
Why do you hate conservatives?
Right.
You got to support all conservative artists, especially if they say they're conservative and love America.
Yeah.
I love America and I love your butt.
I love America and I love the flag. I love the flag and I love America. Let's rock.
Guitar solo.
Thank you.
We have Lee Greenwood for that.
Wiggly, wiggly, whack.
We have
Lee Greenwood, who is now 174,
Yeah.
which people don't know. He won't die just because
He can't.
He can't. They have to have him sing that song. I prefer we transition to our Toby Keith, courtesy of the red, white, and blue phase of the conservative movement. That would be my favorite right now. But Lee is still the sentimental favorite, and I'm sure if I met him, I'd think he was a lovely man. But there are times when I think I might start peeling my corneas if I hear the song again.
Look, I'm a veteran of Desert Storm, and that became popular then. And all I could think of is, in Vietnam, they had the Rolling Stones. They had The Who. They had Jimi Hendrix. I've got Lee freaking Greenwood and Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
Flag, flag, baby.
Yeah. Apparently, Mel Tillis was too busy, so got Lee
Well,
Greenwood.
Mel Tillis.
If you're still
I think
alive
we
at
should
that
do some more Madison Rising bits. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, it's like inside baseball. We're mocking. That's like
It's like tripping a cripple.
cripple tripping for America.
Now that's
Take that, Corky.
Now that's a CD I'd buy if people bought CDs.
Hi, this is Madison Rising. We're going in a new direction. Here's our hit, Tripping a Cripple.
But that cripple was holding an American flag. When? Anyway.
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
So, like,
Wow.
there's people listening are like, who the hell's Madison?
What's a Madison Rising? It always sounded a little
yes.
creepy
All right,
to me,
so
too.
let's talk CPAC 27,
Yeah.
Conservative Political Action Conference. For those of you who don't know,
What's a conservative?
what's a conservative right now? A conservative
Yeah.
is this,
Someone who's here.
The conservatives are actually now more disjointed than the libertarians. They're like every conservative is his own little faction of conservatism right now. There's no cohesive
Exactly.
unit. It's like he's a conservative, I'm a
I'm
conservative.
a
we're different.
Curtitarian. He's
Yeah.
a Cruisitarian.
Yeah.
And we're going to fight after this.
It's been interesting to see the crowd and the makeup.
Such as it is.
Yeah,
the
I-
Festival
light-
of
little light
Weirdos,
this year.
Losers, and Mutations.
Yeah, but I was expecting a few more "Make America Great" hats. Haven't seen too many of them here. But
They're usually on the guys you'd expect to have a Make America Great
I
hat.
think-
it's never a surprise.
I think the
You're
Howe
like,
brothers bought
"Hello,
them all
asshole."
and are burning them. I think that's what happened to most of the
brothers.
Make America Great hats. There's a bonfire out there, and I'm pretty sure it's Ben and Caleb burning Make America Great hats.
I just got a
Again.
sense the lead up to this. I saw on social media a bunch of the people that were supporting Trump were pissed off that a lot of the speakers were either never Trumpers or were very critical of Trump. And then you had people that were never Trump. They're like, I'm not going there because it's going to be a Trump love fest. So then you got these two people where it just feels like, a lot of people just didn't show up.
It seems like there are fewer
light.
people here,
Yeah.
but I think it's the harder, cooler core.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been a lot fewer Giebos this year than usual.
Can we,
yeah, there's always this fringe element at these things.
Last year took a lot out of people too. There were a lot of fractured relationships, and there were a lot of it was a lot of general silliness. There were people who got way too emotional, and I don't like feelings. I'm not a fan. I hate the feelings, and if you let feelings get involved with something, you probably deserve whatever pain happens to you in life. So
don't be dumb enough to care.
The feelings got in the way of everything, and at the end, we were like bitchy little progressives. Everybody on the right fighting and nitpicking, and I don't like you, and then I'm like, oh, shut up, you whiny little. So I think that's the whole thing. This is like everybody just wore themselves out like tantruming toddlers last year. They got to the end of the screaming and they're still napping.
Yeah. You got anything to add to that?
No.
There's a binder clip here. You'd say there's no swag. It's a binder clip in French.
Yeah. I
Wow.
bought those.
It gives up when you try and clip it.
Yeah.
Up.
We have a big budget here at the Enough Already podcast. Don't have grommets on the banner.
Grommets.
So we had to put clips up there to hold it up.
Enough Already podcast. Now grommet free.
What the hell a grommet is?
Oh, grommet.
Those little holes there that they put in.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. There's
Yeah.
a name for that.
Yeah.
That's like the thing under your nose, that piece, that area. There's a name for that. I never know what it is. That's going to be my grommet, too.
That's a nose thing.
So, next, yes.
I asked Kurt about this yesterday. I'll get your take on it, leading up to
Oh,
the
dear.
conference, the whole Milo controversy. What were your thoughts?
I was never a big Milo fan. I didn't think he was nearly as effective as some people thought he was. Kurt liked him. My fiance, who's standing right by me here, she loved him. I thought if he were straight, she might leave me for him at one point. And
he does dress better.
So, having said that, I was kind of neither here nor there with him. I was disturbed, and this is where everybody gets nitpicky and bitchy, and the feelings come back in again. I was disturbed that the right wing has its own progressive social media hit mob now. That's very unnerving to me. And some people are saying, well, it was leaked by the left. I don't care. It was escalated and driven home by the right. That's how that played out. And that, to me, is really, really, really frustrating and not a good sign.
Too many people taking glee in this.
Yeah.
To me, it was like that old Chris Rock bit where he talked about the O.J. Simpson trial, and after the verdict, he's like, too many white people upset, too many black people happy. I ran out to my mailbox, and I didn't get my O.J. was not guilty prize in the mail. And it just seems like there was a lot of that, oh, yes. Like people won something because Milo's career has, temporarily
bottomed.
Yeah.
When does Milo land? So
No,
it's like it's a year and a half ago. You would have gone back a year and a half, 2 years ago, and everybody would have been like, it's horrible to ruin somebody's life like that. And now everybody's like, we can be just like the progressives now because feelings.
Well, look, on the other hand, I'm not going to have some freaking provocateur associate banging children with my movement. At the end of the day, if you're undisciplined enough to make it so that people may have an opportunity of associating child banging with my movement, I'm going to freaking toss you. You're expendable. You are not useful. You have caused me a problem, and you're going to go. I don't owe Milo any loyalty. He's not loyal to any particular conservative. He's certainly not loyal to me. He is hurting my movement. He's gone. That's my feelings.
But
and feelings are bad.
I don't think you take great
No,
joy
I
in it,
don't. I think it's a horrible thing. I think I think he's a victim of abuse himself, which he doesn't recognize. I think he is a sad and lonely person with a lot of problems who covers it up by being a giant flaming asshole. But I don't take any pleasure in it. But at some point, you got to say, the toe's infected. It's got to come off.
I just feel like it, from what I've seen with the Milo thing, and look, I told you this yesterday.
Yeah.
I have never been that curious about him to dig into all of these past statements.
Who's the guy who did the Oppo on him? You're supposed to go and do Oppo research on every podcast this idiot's done.
I just feel like so much of this little movement that we're in, when it came to Milo and with Tommy Lahren, so much of it feels like it's just based on pure jealousy. And I'm not a big fan of either one of them, but it's just like...
No, I agree there's some of that, and I think some people took pleasure in what was a pretty horrible thing.
I think that people who are having sex don't have time to dig through the internet for old videos like that, and so maybe
So it did come from the Never Trump
get
guys.
laid a little more. I don't know. It's like because that's the thing we were talking about that last night. The Tommy Lahren thing. I said somebody told me. I told someone recently. I said I know I'm not supposed to like her for some reason, but I don't know what it is. So
Yeah, why
I'm not
are we
gonna
supposed to hate Tommy
I'm not
Lahren
going to
now?
not like her just because she's young and pretty, and a bunch of people are threatened by the fact that she's young and pretty. It's young and pretty is good. You can't if you're young and attractive, you can't start at 45 and go backwards. You have to be young and attractive first before you can get to anything else. So that's what I was young and pretty once too, and it worked. It worked for me a lot. It was beautiful. I even had a mullet for a while. It's still freaking fabulous. But
Yeah, what is the Tommy Lahren problem that people see? I mean, I just find
Meteoric rise.
Okay.
And the fact that she's pretty, and it looks like most of what she's saying is
Everybody on the
teleprompter
media is
driven.
pretty.
Exactly. I don't understand what it is about this woman that drives so many people crazy.
Fox News built an empire on pretty blonde women.
Yes. I mean, granted.
She's 22 and she's
So you can't start again. You can't start at 46. You have to be 22 first.
you can't have an opinion.
Oh, I had all kinds of opinions at 22, but I'm smarter than most people. But they were all good. I've been solid from the beginning. I didn't have to have a learning curve like the masses do.
Yeah, but look at how many times over the past 5 to 7 years they brought some kind of 15-year-old dynamo.
every time they found a boy who could tie a frickin' tie, he was on a stage at CPAC somewhere, and then 7 months of Fox News, and then he learned how to masturbate and said, "I think I'm a liberal right now," and then. The whole thing would I can't even name the names anymore. There are so many.
Yeah, what was that little dude's name? He looked like the Jack in the Box kid, Rodney Allen Rippey.
Dude, okay, now everybody's really got it. Let's get Mikey. He hates everything.
Let's get Mikey. He hates liberals.
Oh my gosh! Well, gentlemen, is there anything else you want to talk about before?
No, I talked about masturbation. He said flaming asshole. I think we're good.
I got a lot of personal issues I could bring up,
including the flaming asshole. But
Well.
that's a health issue now. Now we're not talking personality.
the fashion
what?
choices at
Fashion
CPAC.
Well, I'm a little disappointed Melissa Clothier isn't here this year with a ruler
Well,
measuring.
you know what I did last night, though. I texted Melissa.
We call that the Eric Erickson.
No, I texted Melissa last night. I said, I'm at CPAC, totally dressed like a trollop. And she sent me back. She laughed. She had a good time.
It should run around with a little stamp, a couple stamps, whore, tart.
Yeah.
Yeah, hand those out. Talk about everybody's handing stuff
look
out.
like a whore.
I'm sorry. That's like 3 inches above your knee, so whore.
5 inches, tart.
Feels too high.
6 inches, future congresswoman.
I see crack. Supreme Court.
But that hasn't been. I haven't seen a lot of that this year.
No.
In past years you would see, especially at the Wardman Park. I mean, it was like
Well, you could see everybody there, though.
Right.
Because everybody had to keep walking by the bar. So you could just sit in the bar and that was the biggest Mystery Science Theater 3000 thing ever. You could just sit in the bar and judge everybody. That's a... Yeah, so
You're
that
off
was
mic, Terry.
that was the greatest thing ever with that for people watching that setup. Here people can be walking anywhere.
Yeah, you can escape.
Yeah.
But there, you still have the little 15-year-old Republicans in their elephant skirts.
That was happening today.
That's happening a lot.
Kurt and I
today.
each got an elephant skirt. We liked them so much. We're like, that's fabulous. I
That
gotta
looks
get me
so
one.
good.
Sometimes
so
you just
good.
need
My
to feel
ass
pretty.
in those
I
things.
want you to see
You got to
my
see where the
knees.
trunk goes.
Well, no, I can't wear one of those because I'm so concerned about my thigh gap.
Yes.
Nice.
Well, I think that we've really covered everything at this point.
And uncovered a lot of things. We've uncovered a lot of things, too.
Gentlemen, Kurt, I'll start with you. Where can everyone find you on the internet?
Go find me at I don't know, Twitter. Is that a thing? Kurt Schlichter on Twitter. Go to the hashtag caring. You'll find love and completeness. And if you don't, you'll die alone and unloved.
I'm Steve
Steven.
K on Friendster. I am the weekend editor at the Independent Journal Review, so you'll find me on the weekends, in theory, editing and writing though. And on Twitter, I'm on the Twitters occasionally. So I have a few people around on Twitter. But that's it. And I do a weekly column, a weekly or two thing at break.com too. Funny stuff. I write about dirty things there.
There you have it. Stephen, Kurt, Stephen.
Find her
Thank you
place.
I
so
also
much.
do Pennell's Forum a lot.
Really?
Yes.
That's still a thing?
It is.
Kurt keeps writing the letters.
I keep writing the letters. There were these two Swedish stewardesses. I mean, it was the weirdest thing.
Longhand because he's only got the one hand free.
Unfortunately, it's my left hand, so they're kind of hard to decipher.
In an elephant skirt.
In an elephant skirt.
I think we're done.
Yep. Thank you, gentlemen.
We're super done.
And we're back here on Radio Row, CPAC 2017 in beautiful National Harbor, Maryland. I'm Fingers Malloy. John Brodigan has decided to join me as Terry Christoph has taken the hour off. And joining us right now at the Enough Already podcast table.
It doesn't quite roll off the tongue.
Nah, well, I know. It'll get there. Someone who totally pulled a star move on me yesterday.
So here's the flogging. Let the flogging commence.
Scottie Nell Hughes is here. Now, Scottie, she's only here for about like a day, and I thought we were like pals, John.
Well,
Scottie
I
and
mean, literally every year, she's our favorite interview.
Yeah.
Because I always say something that's really people don't expect. You're my rebellion. My bad girl side comes out with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, your interviews are always the one where we're done, we look at each other. Did that go too far?
Well, so I know she's only going to be here for a day. So I walk over. I say, "Oh, there's Scottie Nell Hughes there, my good pal, my buddy, my chum," and she's talking to two broads behind the curtain there, and I'm already getting a look. And so I walk up and I want to say hello, and she looks over at me, gives me kind of a half smile, and then continues to just talk, not even acknowledging my presence. So at that point, I'm like, well, Scottie Nell Hughes. Superstar diva, can't even at least say pat me on the head and send me on my way. Just turned her head, kind of half a crack of a smile, and then turned back around and talked to her lady friends.
Well, look on the bright side. At least she got the smile. A lot of these conservative dames, when they get a little bit of popularity, they won't even smile at you.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, now first of all, let me actually tell the truth because you're spreading fake news right now. Fake news. The truth is, I knew that if I did anything other than just smile, I would just like start blushing and ooshing and gushing, and I could not do that out in public. I'm like, oh my God, it's Fingers Malloy, and like throw myself this huge hug. That'd be very embarrassing. Might cause attorneys for both of us when we get home. It just would be bad for me to do that. So I just wanted to save us all that trouble. You're welcome.
I mean, that actually makes sense because
Thank you.
she did do that at CPAC 2013.
Lies.
No.
And then later on, it was oh yeah, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna grab a drink.
You didn't come over.
I got
You
this
never
over
come
here.
over.
I got this over here, and I got this over here. I'll be done at 6. Oh, I'll be done at 9. And then all of a sudden, she, at 2 o'clock in the morning, she sends me a picture of her and two of her other friends at a bar. And I was like,
Girls,
oh.
all girls. It's not like I'm out with a bunch of guys.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
all girls.
Okay.
And then I was like, and you had already gone home because you were a wuss.
Well, I'm not gonna go to a rooftop bar and watch the whitest people in America dancing. I don't need to see that.
You're one of the whitest people in
That's
America.
right, and that's why I wasn't up there on the rooftop dancing. Spare people that.
Well, I actually had fun because there were light up boxes. So I got to be in a box, and they were lit up. I've always wanted to be in a box. Jenny from the Bronx, Jenny in a box. I'm Scottie from the box. Okay, can we actually talk about what's going on here today?
I guess. What's going on
Besides
here today?
me sloughing all of you off, according to you.
What's okay, were you in the hall for the big speech?
I was in for the big speech.
What's your take?
Well, first of all, my question is where are the protesters?
Well, they were across the street.
Were there any?
Yeah, there were about 24 protesters when I walked in, but I walked in at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So
they only protest when they're getting paid. Bazinga.
Oh, there you go.
See, I think they're starting to run out of money.
Yeah. Well, you were in the hall. Your take on the speech?
I thought it was very, very good. But you can always tell when he goes off script. I love it. Those are the points that I love. You can tell when he's right on it, and when he realizes that he wants his friends. When he realizes in a friendly room, he goes off script. The best line, I think this should be the narrative. I'm just fulfilling my promises. That's all he's doing. And that needs to be the narrative for the next year. I'm just fulfilling my. I don't understand why these people are so angry at what he's doing. He said that's what he's going to do. The American people elected to him. This should be the easiest job ever for the media to cover. And yet.
I mean, that's the thing that drives me insane, because where a lot of us who, let's just say, weren't as enthusiastic about him until after the election, when we look at that in comparison to not even the left, like people who, like some people, like at least claiming to have voted for him, but they're upset that they're upset about like the illegal immigration crackdown, and they're upset about Obamacare, but that's literally the two things he ran on.
Right.
When you were wearing your "Make America Great Again" hat and like sharing all those Facebook stories, with your cousins, he was running on cracking down illegal immigration and repealing and replacing Obamacare.
Nothing new. So why are we acting so shocked and in meltdown and thinking it's the end of the world as we know it? And we saw Melbourne, Florida last week. I'm hoping that any of these promises that he made, if he finds out that there is a senator or a congressman, Republican or Democrat, that's literally stalemating it within Congress, I hope he goes and does one of those rallies in their district, especially if they're a Republican, and reminds them of the crowd and the constituents that elected him, that he represents them and not the normal DC folks. So there you go. Back to me, fluffing you off, Fingers. You have that look on your face. You're still not forgiving me.
I don't think you want to say fluffing me off. That's not...
You have a beard. It's hard not when I'm looking at you now. Okay, let's talk about the evolution of this show since the first time I met you guys. You were with us over at the Marriott. Did you ever do one of the old CPAC locations?
Yes, I was there for the last two.
Okay, do you remember for the Andrew Breitbart when he saw the protesters and went out like a schoolgirl and, on the first day of school, like, ooh, protesters, with the cameras following him. There's that. That was the Mohawk. I think the reason, the evolution of both of you, because you didn't have the beard then either, but now you've lost a lot of weight since then too. You've become very GQ, and we don't have the Mohawk anymore. I really want to challenge you, Fingers, in 2018, bring Mohawk back.
I'm too old for it.
No, you're not. That's only in your mind. Age is only by the definition. Maybe if you bring the Mohawk back, I won't just give you that side grin. I might stop the prices in the world and say, I don't care who I'm talking to. I'm going to go talk to the Mohawk.
I should be good enough the way I am.
No, I'm very superficial. I'm wearing pink. Embrace my stereotype.
Yes, by law, blonde plus pink equals superficial.
Embrace the stereotype.
It's science.
Put the Mohawk on.
It is a Mohawk.
And then color it.
It's already being colored naturally.
Well, no, you've got black to one side. That's not natural. You played with that.
I've got the Robert Kardashian skunk streak in my hair now.
You're doing this on purpose. Black on one side, gray on the other.
Really.
You got it colored that way.
I can't do the whole just for men thing. I've worked with people that they just for men their beards, and it looks like they took a Sharpie and just started rubbing it up and down through the beard. It doesn't look natural. Or maybe it's just that these guys are really, really bad at it.
I think they're really bad at it because mine looks natural.
Oh, you do just for men. Look at you.
You just insulted your partner.
Hey.
That's not nice.
I wouldn't have known by looking at it.
Do you guys need couples therapy?
Well, this is the thing that bothers me about beards. Okay.
It bothers you about beards? Let me tell you things that bothers me about beards.
What's that?
I can think of a couple because I've heard the complaints.
Yes.
Okay, here's the deal. That's really... I didn't know what I was getting into when I started growing this thing. This was 2 or 3 inches longer, like 3 months ago, and then I tried trimming it. But, I used to be a guy, just get out of the shower, run some gel through the hair, and go out the door. Now, all of a sudden, as you get a longer beard, suddenly you have to buy all these products. You have to get some sort of special beard comb, and then you need a beard brush, and then you need beard oil, and then you need beard balm. And next thing you know, you're taking 20 minutes to do all this grooming to your beard and putting product in it. And it's like, oh my God, you're turned into some sort of garage metrosexual. And I don't know how this happened. And you're getting all these stuff sent to you from Amazon. It's like a new emails about different kinds of beard oil and beard balm, and it takes over your life.
So back in the day,
you're really wanting sympathy from me. I wear shoes like this, and if this is on my feet, you can imagine how long it took me to do this.
Well, you can take it off though.
But that means if I'm wearing that, do you know how long it takes to do this? I have more fake hair on my face than I think Hillary Clinton has on her. Never mind, we're not going to go there.
No, like back in college, I had like hair past my shoulders. I've never used more product in my entire 46
So then why
Two-
do you have a beard?
Well, I wasn't aware of this, but I got stuck with it. And the other reason I keep it, so all of my friends that I've called sellouts when they shave their beards, I don't want to hear from them.
Payback.
Exactly.
Karma.
Because I know it's coming.
Okay, well, let's get off of beard talk here.
Yeah, thank you, because I hate facial hair. but
I know
anyways.
you're a busy woman, obviously, by the way you've treated me this last day.
No, we're not.
So I'm very appreciative that you were able to sit down and take the time to talk to me today. I'm going to let you go, but before
You're done.
before you go, tell me what you have going on, where people can follow you, all that.
Go follow me on Twitter at Scottie and Hughes, and because you're going to tweet out a really awesome tweet about me, because I always get great tweets from the show. And what I'm doing, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. I was hoping this week would kind of clarify. It really has not. I'm now more in the mud than ever. I just don't know. I want to know. I really actually enjoy being on the outside and being able to fight on the outside liberals, and I can't do that if I go on the inside.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
You would have had all the answers if you would have hung out with me last night, but whatever.
We would have played spin the bottle, but with like my career choices.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, if there's one person that
A Ouija
should be,
board.
If there's one person who should be handing out media career advice, it's me.
Yes.
So, Scottie, Nell, Hughes, everyone. Thank you, Scottie.
Love you guys.
Love you too.